The discovery. The night was quiet in the lower streets of New Terra City. Rain had fallen earlier, so the ground was still wet. Neon lights flickered above broken signs. People were gone. Only silence and the sound of dripping water remained. Evan walked alone, his hands in his pockets, his head low. He had just finished a 12-hour shift at the power plant. He was tired. His boots splashed softly in puddles as he passed closed shops and locked doors. Then he heard something. It was faint, like a cough or a weak cry. He stopped, looked around. Nothing. He took a few more steps. Again the sound came, this time clearer. It was coming from an alley between two old buildings. Evan hesitated. That part of the city was known for trouble. Gangs, smugglers, strange people. He should have walked away. But the sound came again. Softer. Like someone was in pain. He sighed and turned into the alley. It was dark and smelled of rust and trash. The air was cold. At first he saw nothing. Then, near a pile of broken crates, he saw a small figure lying on the ground. A girl. She looked young, maybe 15 or 16. She was shaking. Her clothes were torn. Her skin was pale. No, not pale. It had a soft, glowing tint, blue and silver like moonlight on water. Evan froze. This was not a normal girl. She was not human. Her eyes opened slightly. They were wide, glowing faintly, filled with fear. Her lips moved, but no sound came. Out. She tried to sit up, but her body was too weak. Evan took a step back. His heart beat faster. Aliens were rare on Earth. Most lived far away on colonies or other planets. Some were dangerous. Some were hunted. Helping one could mean prison. He looked around. No one was there. The girl looked at him again. Her eyes pleaded with him like she was begging without words. He took a deep breath. "Are you okay?" he asked. She blinked slowly, then shook her head. "I can't leave you here," Evan whispered to himself. Still unsure, he stepped closer. Carefully, he pulled the old blanket off her. She was even thinner than he thought. Her arms were covered in bruises. One side of her body looked burned. "Who did this to you?" he whispered. She coughed, and a small drop of green blood came from her mouth. That made him act. He bent down and lifted her gently. She was light like a child. She didn't resist. Her head rested on his shoulder, and she whispered something so quietly he almost missed it. "Kaya." "What?" he asked. My name, Kaya." Evan nodded. "Okay, Kaya, I've got you." He walked quickly back through the alley, holding her tight. His mind raced. What if someone saw them? What if she died? He reached his small apartment and locked the door behind him. It wasn't much, just a bed, a tiny kitchen, and a couch, but it was warm. He laid her on the couch and grabbed a towel. Gently, he cleaned her wounds. She winced but didn't cry out. "I'm not a doctor," he said, half to himself, "but I'll try." He found an old first aid kit, bandaged her burns, gave her a little water. She fell asleep almost immediately. Evan sat down on the floor, watching her breathe. Her chest rose and fell slowly. Her skin still glowed faintly, in the dark. He had so many questions. Where was she from? Why was she alone? Why was she hurt? And why did she look so scared? Suddenly, a soft humming sound came from outside. He stood and looked through the window. A drone passed by, black with red lights blinking. Search drone. It was scanning the area. Evan's heart sank. Were they looking for her? He turned off the lights and closed the curtain. Back on the couch, Kaya was still sleeping. But even in her sleep, her hands were slightly glowing, like a fading star. Evan sat beside her. He had no idea what he had just stepped into. But one thing was clear. This girl needed help. And for some reason, he couldn't walk away. He should have walked. Away. Evan didn't sleep that night. He sat in the dark, eyes fixed on the strange girl lying on his couch. Her skin still glowed faintly, like soft light underwater. She hadn't moved in hours, except for the slow rise and fall of her chest. Outside, the city was quiet. Too quiet. Evan kept thinking about the search drone. It had hovered for only a few seconds, but something about it didn't feel normal. The way it scanned the buildings, like it was looking for a signal, or a heartbeat. He looked at Kaya again. Who was she? Why did she fall from the sky and end up in his alley? And why did helping her feel like a mistake he couldn't undo? Suddenly, she stirred, her fingers twitched, her eyes opened slightly. She tried to speak, but only a dry, whispering sound came out. Evan grabbed a water bottle and helped her drink. She took a few slow sips, then coughed. Where am I? She asked, her voice soft, strange. You're safe, Evan said. My place, no one followed us. Kaya blinked slowly. Her eyes were large, silver, and not human. Why? Did you help me? She asked. Evan didn't answer right away. He didn't have a good reason. Maybe guilt? Maybe instinct? Maybe it was just that her eyes looked too much like a scared child's. No one else would have, he said. Kaya tried to sit up. Her arms shook. She was still too weak. You need to rest, Evan said. You're not healed yet. But Kaya shook her head. No time, they'll find me. Who? He asked. Kaya looked at the door, fear rising in her eyes. The black suits, the ones with red masks. That phrase sent a chill through Evan. He had heard rumors, stories, quiet whispers about a group that hunted non-humans. Not the police, not the army. Something worse. Secret. Private. Ruthless. No one knew their real name. People just called them the cleaners. Evan swallowed hard. Why are they after you? Kaya didn't speak. She looked down at her glowing hand and closed her fingers. Then she said one word. Power. Evan leaned in. What do you mean? Kaya closed her eyes. I wasn't supposed to live. My ship. It wasn't meant to escape. They destroyed my world, my family, everything. But I had something in my blood. My parents hid it inside me. I think it's the last piece. Evan stared at her, trying to understand. The last piece of what? Kaya looked up, her eyes glowing a little brighter now. Hope. Before Evan could ask more, a sudden sound echoed outside. Metallic, sharp, like a claw scraping concrete. He rushed to the window and peeked through the curtain. Two figures in black were walking down the street. Long coats, red glass masks. No noise, no footsteps. Kaya's hands began to shake. It's them, she whispered. Evan backed away from the window. How did they find us so fast? Kaya closed her eyes. They can track energy. My body gives off signals when I'm scared. I can't control it. Evan cursed under his breath. Okay, we're getting out of here. He grabbed a backpack, shoved a few supplies in, and helped Kaya stand. She was still weak, but she could walk, with effort. Can you hide your glow? He asked. I'll try. They left through the back door, down the fire stairs, into the rain-slick alley behind the building. Evan knew these streets. He took a narrow path between two warehouses, then ducked into an old subway entrance. Below, the tunnels were dark and cold. Water dripped from broken pipes. Rusty signs hung from the walls. The city had abandoned this place years ago. They moved, slowly, Evan supporting Kaya, her feet dragging. Every few minutes they stopped to listen. Every sound echoed. Every shadow looked like danger. Then they heard it. Footsteps. Not behind them. In front. Evan pulled Kaya behind an old vending machine. His heart pounded in his ears. Two red lights flickered at the far end of the tunnel. The figures were already here. Kaya began to breathe faster. Her skin glowed brighter. No, Kaya, Evan whispered. They'll see that. You have to calm down. I can't, she said. It's fear. It's alive inside me. Suddenly, one of the masked men looked in their direction. Then he raised a hand. A drone flew from his shoulder, small, black, and fast. It scanned the tunnel. Evan knew they had seconds. He grabbed a broken metal pipe nearby. When I say run, run. Kaya looked at him. You'll get caught. I'm human. They won't kill me. You. They will. The drone flew closer. Evan stood, screamed, and swung the pipe. Sparks flew as it hit the drone. It buzzed, twisted, and crashed. Kaya ran. The red-masked man shouted something in a strange language and gave chase. Evan ran the other way, drawing their attention. Down the tunnel, Kaya stumbled into a maintenance door. She pulled it open and hid behind a control panel. Her body shook, but her eyes, they began to glow brighter. She wasn't just scared anymore. She was getting angry. Kaya speaks. The room was silent, except for the quiet hum of electricity. Evan closed the heavy metal door behind him, double-locked it, and pressed his back to the wall, breathing hard. They had escaped. Barely. The tunnel chase had gone on for blocks. The masked men were faster, stronger, and better equipped. But Kaya had led them through service tunnels only she seemed to sense, like her body remembered paths no map had. Now they were inside an old underground power station. It hadn't been used in years. Dust hung in the air like fog. Broken monitors blinked with half-dead lights. Machines stood frozen like ghosts of the past. Kaya sat on a metal crate. Her head was down, hands shaking, but her body was no longer glowing. Not brightly, at least. Just a faint pulse like a dying ember. Evan walked over, crouched beside her. You okay? Kaya nodded slowly. For now. He handed her a water bottle. She took a sip, then stared at her reflection in the metal wall across from her. I don't look like them, she whispered. You don't have to, Evan said. You look like you. She looked at him then, really looked. For a long moment, neither of them said anything. Then Kaya finally spoke. You deserve to know the truth. Evan leaned in. I'm listening. Kaya looked down at her glowing fingers, her voice soft but clear. I'm not just from another planet, I'm from a lab. Evan blinked. A lab? My people were made, designed, genetically built to do things humans couldn't. Stronger, faster, smarter, but with a price. We couldn't fight back. She paused. Her hands curled into fists. They gave us powers but locked our minds. Controlled us through pain. We were weapons, not people. Evan shook his head. That's inhuman. Kaya looked up. That's what they thought too. He frowned. Who? Kaya's voice dropped lower. The ones who made us, not aliens. Humans. Evan froze. No, that's not possible. Kaya nodded. It is. The first colony wars. Earth sent soldiers to conquer planets, but they failed. So someone created us, Project Helix, a mix of alien DNA and human tech. But we weren't meant to survive. Evan sat down, stunned. They used you, and then what? Kaya's voice trembled. They destroyed the labs, the planets, everything, but one lab, mine, had a plan. My parents worked there. They made me different, gave me free thought, a choice. She stared into the distance. And then they died trying to smuggle me out. Evan felt sick. He looked at Kaya's face, not just scared now, but full of grief and anger. You said something's inside you, he said. Something important? Kaya nodded. I carry the last helix seed. If it activates, I can break the control over others, the ones who are still slaves, the ones still fighting in secret wars. Her voice cracked. But they want it for themselves, to make a new army, with no weakness, no choice. Evan stood and paced. So the men chasing you, the red masks, they're part of this? They're not men, Kaya said. Not fully. Some are enhanced, some are failed experiments, others are hunters, paid to clean up secrets. Why you? Because I am the last secret they couldn't erase. Suddenly the room flickered. The lights dimmed. Kaya stood, her eyes wide. They're close. How do you know? She pointed to the wall. Her fingers began to glow brighter now. I can feel energy, movement, fear. I was made to sense danger. Evan grabbed a wrench and pulled Kaya toward the back of the room. We have to move again. But Kaya stopped him. No more running, she said. Evan stared at her. What? If I keep running, they'll keep hunting. People like you will keep dying. It ends now. Evan shook his head. You're not ready. Kaya turned to face him. Her eyes glowed silver now, stronger, brighter. I wasn't ready to lose my home either. She walked to the center of the room, placed her hand on the ground, and closed her eyes. The floor lit up. Lines of glowing blue spread like roots across the metal. Evan stepped back. What are you doing? Kaya opened her eyes. Calling someone who can help. Before Evan could ask more, a soft hum filled the air. A circular pad rose from the center of the room. A small projection flickered above it. A woman's face. Old, tired, but alert. Kaya, the hologram said. Is it really you? Kaya smiled weakly. Hello, Dr. Myra. Evan was stunned. Who's that? Kaya turned to him. The only scientist who tried to stop Project Helix. The hologram looked at Evan. And you? Human. Are you her guardian? Evan looked at Kaya. She gave a small nod. Yeah, he said. I guess I am. The woman's voice became serious. Then listen carefully. They've activated protocol. Red light. That means you've been marked. Both of you. They'll send in the Reavers next. Kaya looked scared now. I thought they were just a myth. The hologram flickered. They're real, and they don't stop. Evan looked around. Then what do we do? Dr. Myra's face hardened. Come to me. I have a safe zone, but you'll have to go through the Ash District. It's a dead zone, but it's the only way. The hologram blinked off. Kaya looked at Evan. He nodded slowly. Let's finish what they started. The hunters. The Ash District had no sky. Above it was a ceiling of metal and smoke, once part of the city's old dome structure before the collapse. Now it was nothing but ruin, a wasteland of melted steel, broken bridges, and dark tunnels. No light came from the sun, only fire, only red. Evan and Kaya moved through the shadows. The air was thick with dust. Every step crunched over glass and bone. This place wasn't abandoned, it was cursed. Kaya kept her head low. Her skin was glowing again, not from fear this time, but from focus. Her eyes scanned the ruins like a machine. There's something here, she whispered. Evan gripped the handle of his metal pipe tighter. Alive? Kaya nodded slowly, watching us. They had been walking for nearly 2 hours. No signs of people, no lights. Just the sound of wind howling through dead buildings. Suddenly, Kaya stopped. She knelt down and touched the ground. Her fingers sparked blue. Underground signal, she said. Something just moved, fast, too fast to be human. Evan looked around. Could it be Myra's people? Kaya shook her head. No, this is darker. A loud metal clang echoed through the district. They turned. A figure stepped out of the smoke. It was tall, armored head to toe, with long arms and glowing red lenses for eyes. Its hands were sharp, like knives. It didn't walk. It slid, smooth, and silent like a shadow with weight. Kaya's voice trembled. It's a Reaver. Evan's heart sank. I thought they were just trackers. Kaya's eyes didn't blink. They're not. They're hunters. Once locked on a target, they don't stop. Ever. The Reaver raised one hand. A red pulse shot out, scanning both of them. Kaya screamed and fell to her knees. Evan rushed to her. What happened? Kaya held her head. It's trying to trigger the control signal. The one inside me. The Reaver stepped closer. Evan stood up, blocking its view. Back off, he shouted, swinging his pipe. The Reaver didn't flinch. Instead, its chest opened slightly, revealing a spinning, burning core. A weapon. Evan's eyes widened. We need to run. Kaya grabbed his arm. No more running. What? I can. Stop it, I just need time. Evan hesitated, then nodded. Do it. I'll hold it off. He charged the Reaver. The machine moved like liquid steel. Fast, flexible, merciless. Evan swung. The pipe connected with its shoulder, but the Reaver didn't react. It knocked him down with one powerful strike. Pain shot through his ribs. Kaya stood now, hands glowing brighter than ever. She closed her eyes, her whole body rising an inch off the ground. She whispered words in a strange tongue, old, musical, full of pain and power. The Reaver stopped, twitched. It turned to face her, blade arms raised. Kaya opened her eyes, silver, bright, burning. She raised both hands and pushed forward. A wave of blue-white energy exploded from her body, hitting the Reaver like lightning. The machine screamed, not in sound but in static like breaking radio signals. Its armor cracked. Sparks flew. Kaya shouted, louder this time. The Reaver staggered, then fell to its knees. Its red core blinked, then went dark. Smoke rose from its body. Kaya collapsed. Evan crawled over, pulling her close. Her breathing was heavy. You stopped, he said. Kaya nodded weakly. I used the override code from my blood. My parents gave it to me when I was a child. It was never tested, until now. Evan looked at the Reaver's body. Is it dead? Kaya shook her head. No, it's rebooting. We have maybe 5 minutes. He helped her stand. We need to move. They entered a narrow tunnel under a collapsed building. It led them deeper underground toward the coordinates Myra had sent. As they walked, Kaya leaned on Evan. I felt something when I used the override, she whispered. Like a memory. But not mine. What do you mean? Voices. Screaming. Machines. Hundreds of people like me, locked in rooms, forced to fight, forced to kill. Evan gritted his teeth. We'll stop it, all of it. Kaya looked at him. Why are you helping me, Evan? He paused. Because I see you. You're not a weapon. You're a person. And if the people who made you forgot that, I won't. Kaya didn't speak, but her fingers gently touched his arm. That moment of silence didn't last. Suddenly, the tunnel shook. Rocks fell. A voice came from deeper in the dark. You made it farther than we expected, the voice said. Cold, metallic. Another Reaver stepped forward, but this one was different. Taller, heavier. His armor was marked with gold lines. Kaya gasped. That's a prime. Evan pulled her behind him. I'm guessing that's bad? Primes lead the Reavers, she said. They don't just hunt. They think, and they speak. The prime tilted its head. You are the last Helix carrier. It said to Kaya, return with us. You will be unharmed. Your data will be extracted painlessly. Kaya stood taller now. No, she said. I'm done being a subject. The prime paused. Then you will be removed. It raised its arm. Evan didn't wait. He threw a flash grenade, a gift from Myra's supply bag. Light exploded in the tunnel. Run! He shouted. They dashed into a side tunnel as the prime roared behind them, its voice booming like thunder. The hunt wasn't over. It had only just begun. The hidden lab, the safe zone, wasn't what Evan imagined. It wasn't high-tech. It wasn't clean. It wasn't even above ground. It was an old underground train station buried beneath layers of forgotten steel. The city had erased it from maps decades ago, after a reactor leak made the area unlivable. But now, the air was clean, purified. Someone had fixed it. Someone who didn't want to be found. Dr. Myra stood near an ancient control panel, typing quickly. Her hands moved like a person who never forgot what danger felt like. She looked up when Evan and Kaya stepped out of the service tunnel. Wet, bruised, half-broken. You look worse than I expected, she said flatly. We were chased by a Prime Reaver, Evan said, helping Kaya sit down. I'd say we're lucky to be breathing. Myra walked over to Kaya. Her eyes, once cold and scientific, softened. I never thought I'd see you alive, she said. Kaya looked at her. You said there were no survivors from Lab 7. There weren't, Myra replied. Except you. Kaya's hands glowed faintly. I want the truth. All of it. Myra hesitated, then nodded. You deserve that. She walked over to a large metal door and opened it. Come inside. Behind the door was a chamber lit by soft blue lights. Transparent. Tanks lined the walls, some filled with green liquid, others empty. Inside a few were small metal skeletons, not human, not alien. Something in between. Evan stepped back. What the hell is this place? My first sin, Myra said. And my only regret. Kaya walked slowly toward one of the tanks. Inside was a floating creature, small, fragile-looking, with long fingers and closed eyes. Her own face stared back at her. I don't understand, Kaya whispered. It's a clone, Myra said. A backup, in case you failed. Kaya turned sharply. You built others like me? Yes, Myra said, but none survived past Stage 4. You were the only stable hybrid, the only one who could carry the Helix code without going insane. Evan frowned. What is the Helix code really? Myra looked at him, her face grim. It's not a cure. Not exactly. It's a reset button. Kaya blinked. Explain. The code inside you can wipe control signals from every modified being in the system, Myra said. Every soldier, every reaver, every clone. If activated, it would force all of them to become self-aware. Evan's eyes widened. That would start a war. No, Kaya said quietly. It would end one. Myra nodded. Exactly. They can't control what thinks for itself. That's why they're hunting you. Kaya looked down. But I'm not just a weapon. I remember my mother, my father. They loved me. You were different, Myra said. Your parents weren't. Just scientists. They were rebels. They broke protocol to give you something none of the others had. Evan leaned in. What? A soul. Silence fell across the lab. Kaya sat down. Her hands were glowing now, not just from her energy but from memory, from emotion. I see them sometimes, in dreams, teaching me, hiding me, dying for me. They didn't die for you, Myra said. They died because of you. Kaya's glow stopped. Her heart sank. What? They tried to smuggle you off-world, yes, Myra said. But what you don't know is that they took something else with them. She tapped on a screen. A hologram lit up. Schematics, DNA strands, coordinates. Kaya looked confused. What is that? The Helix core, Myra said. The original code, before it was placed inside you. Evan looked between them. You mean there's a second copy? Myra's voice lowered. Yes. And if the enemy finds it, they don't need you anymore. Kaya stood up. Where is it? Myra stared at her. You already know. Kaya blinked. No, I don't. Yes, you do, Myra said. Because your parents didn't hide it in a vault or on a chip. They hid it in a person. Evan stepped forward. Who? Myra turned the screen again. A photograph appeared. A girl. Younger. Human. Her name was Elia. Your half-sister. Kaya's knees almost gave out. I have a sister? She was born on Earth, Myra said. A backup vessel. Your parents made her look human. No glowing skin, no powers. But her cells, her blood, hold the missing part of the helix. Evan's head spun. So the only way to finish the code is to find her. Kaya looked at the screen, heart racing. She's the last piece of me. Before anyone could speak again, the lights flickered. Sirens, a voice echoed through the station. Robotic. Cold. Unauthorized access detected. Prime Reaver signature confirmed. Containment failure in T-minus 90 seconds. Myra swore. They tracked the signal again. Kaya looked around. What do we do? Myra pulled open a hatch. Get to the lower tunnels. I'll hold them off. No, Evan said. You'll die. I already did the moment I built this place, Myra said. Now go. Kaya touched Myra's hand. Thank you. Myra nodded. Find Alaya and finish this. Kaya and Evan dropped into the hatch just as the station lights turned red. Behind them, heavy footsteps began echoing above. Another Reaver had entered, but this time it wasn't hunting for Kaya. It was hunting for what she carried. The last gift. The tunnel below the lab was narrow, carved through stone and steel. It twisted like a maze, leading Kaya and Evan deeper into the earth, away from light, away from safety. Above them, they could still hear the sounds of battle, screaming metal, explosions. Dr. Myra's voice shouting a final command before it was cut. Off then. Silence. Evan slowed. She's gone. Kaya didn't answer. Her eyes were locked forward, her face pale but focused. She didn't cry. She didn't tremble. But the blue glow under her skin dimmed, as if grief pulled the light from her. She gave her life for us, Evan said. Kaya finally spoke, voice quiet. She gave her life for the code. They stopped at a rusted metal door, half buried in dirt. According to Myra's map, it led to the old comm grid, an abandoned data center that still held backup files from before the Helix collapse. If Alaya existed, this place might tell them where she was. Evan pulled the door open. A burst of cold air greeted them. Inside, darkness. Rows of dead servers, broken cables, and shattered glass. But in the center, one console still glowed. Blue. Faint. Alive. Kaya stepped forward and placed her hand on it. The system flickered to life. A voice crackled through the speakers. Welcome back, Subject Kaya 13. Evan raised his weapon, uneasy. It knows you? It remembers me, Kaya said. The console projected a map, a star chart. One planet lit up, green, Earth, and one city pulsed in red, Aurora Haven. Evan leaned in. That's a restricted zone, off limits, no-fly airspace. Kaya nodded. That's where they took her. The console spoke again. Secondary Helix carrier, subject Alaya, location, confirmed, warning. Extraction may trigger failsafe. Kaya stepped back. Failsafe? Before the console could respond, a new sound echoed through the tunnel. Not footsteps, breathing. Heavy, artificial. Metal scraping against stone. Then a shadow moved beyond the door. Kaya and Evan turned, weapons ready. A figure stepped in, twice the size of a normal Reaver, plated in black armor that hissed with steam. Its eyes were gold, not red. A different model. Stronger, smarter. Its voice echoed through the chamber. I am the Warden, protector of the Helix. Kaya's hands began to glow, but her body trembled. What do you want? The Warden stepped forward. To complete the code. Evan raised his weapon. By killing her? No, the Warden said. By unlocking her. Kaya's glow dimmed. What do you mean? You were made with limits, the Warden said. Safety locks, memory blocks. Your mind can hold the code, but not access it. Kaya frowned. Then how do I unlock it? The Warden pointed to the console. You must merge with Alaya. Evan stepped forward. Merge? As in, combine? The Warden nodded. Two halves, one mind, one soul. Kaya's voice cracked. And if I don't? The Warden tilted its head. Then the code dies with you. Evan looked at Kaya. There has to be another way. There isn't. The Warden said. Kaya sat down overwhelmed. If I merge with her, do I survive? Silence. Then the Warden answered. No. Evan stepped between them. Then forget it. We're not doing that. But Kaya didn't speak. She stared at the glowing map, at the blinking red point where her sister was hidden. She's innocent, Kaya whispered. She doesn't even know who she is. You're not sacrificing yourself, Evan said. Not after everything you've survived. Kaya looked at him, eyes glowing brighter now. I was made to protect others. Maybe this is what that really means. No, Evan said louder. You weren't made for death, Kaya. You were made to choose. That's what makes you human. A long silence. Then Kaya turned to the warden. Take me to her. The warden nodded once, then raised its arm. A side wall slid open, revealing a transport pod. You will have 1 hour, it said. Then the merge must begin. Kaya walked toward the pod, but before she entered, she turned to Evan. He was shaking. I'm not ready to lose you, he said. Kaya stepped closer and touched his chest. You never had to keep me, she said. Just believe in me. Then she kissed his forehead and walked inside. The door closed. The transport pod rose through the tunnel like a bullet through the earth. Evan stood there in silence, until the warden turned to him. She may not return, it said. But her legacy will. Evan clenched his fists. She's not a legacy, she's a person. The warden paused. Then fight for her. Above, the pod shot through the surface, toward Aurora Haven, toward Elia, and toward the final choice, to live or to give life. Not just a girl, the transport pod burst through the surface like a silent missile, rising out of the earth into a storm-filled sky. Aurora Haven lay beneath Kaya, a city built for the elite, now silent, shielded, and closed. Off from the world. No ships came in, no messages went out, because what it protected was never meant to leave. Inside the pod, Kaya sat alone. Her hands trembled in her lap. Her heart beat slowly, like the final ticks of a dying clock. A voice echoed in her head, Evan's voice. You weren't made for death, Kaya, you were made to choose. She closed her eyes and whispered to herself, Then I choose to finish it. The pod landed in an empty plaza. Gray towers loomed over her, cold and lifeless. A single door opened in the far wall. She walked toward it. No guards, no alarms. Because they were expecting her. Inside, the air was too clean, too still. The walls were white, glowing faintly. Cameras tracked her silently. At the center of the facility stood a single glass chamber. Inside, a girl, 16, brown hair, human in every way. Elia. Kaya stepped closer. The girl's eyes opened, and Kaya's heart broke. Because Elia didn't look confused. She looked afraid. A voice rang out through the speakers, calm, cold, human. Welcome, Subject 13. You've returned. To complete the cycle. Kaya turned. A man stepped out of the shadows. White coat. Silver eyes. His name was Dr. Vex, head of the Helix Continuation Program. We always knew you'd come back, he said. Kaya's glow grew stronger. Let her go. She's awake, Kaya, fully aware, and fully bonded. Her DNA carries the missing key, but she doesn't have your power. I won't merge with her, Kaya said. Not by force. Vex smiled. No, we've evolved. We don't need to force you. We just need to encourage. He pressed a button. Elia's chamber filled with gas. She panicked, coughing. Stop. It, Kaya shouted. Vex spoke calmly. Merge, or she dies. And with her the last hope of completing the code. Kaya's heart raced. She looked at the girl, her sister. The one who had never been told what she was. Raised like a normal human, never knowing she carried the most powerful genetic code in the universe. Kaya stepped forward. Then everything stopped. A voice shouted from the hallway. Get down! The wall exploded. Evan burst in, dust-covered, wounded, furious. Behind him the warden followed, sparks flying from its damaged chest. Its eyes flickered between gold and red. Vex stumbled back. You're supposed to be dead, he growled. Evan raised a weapon. A lot of people were supposed to be things. The warden's arm turned into a cannon. Vex dove for cover. Kaya rushed to Elia's chamber and smashed the controls. The glass opened and the gas cleared. Elia collapsed into her arms. "It's okay," Kaya whispered. "I've got you." Elia looked up, eyes wide. "Who are you?" Kaya smiled gently. "I'm your sister." Behind them, Vex screamed and tried to flee, but the warden caught him. "You experimented on life," the warden said coldly. "Now you answer to it." And with one blast, Vex was gone. The lab shook, sirens blared, Evan ran to Kaya. "The reactor is unstable, we have to leave." "Now." Kaya looked at Elia. "No," she said. "It's time." She turned to Evan. "The Yahweh merge. It can't wait. If I leave now, the chance is lost. She'll die anyway." "There has to be another way," Evan shouted. Kaya placed her hand on his chest. "I was never just a girl, Evan. I was a key. But now, I'm also a sister, a friend, and because of you, a person." Her body began to glow, brighter than ever before. "Tell them I chose this," she said. "Not because I was made to, but because I wanted to." Elia reached for her hand, afraid. Kaya squeezed it gently. "Don't be scared. We'll be one, and we'll be free." Light burst from them both. It filled the chamber. It burned through the walls, the air, the circuits. Across the planet, every helix signal went dark. Reavers dropped. Lab doors unlocked. Children woke. And for the first time, they were free. 1 week later, Evan stood in a green field where the old facility once stood. Elia stood beside him. Her eyes glowed softly now, not like a weapon, but like a soul reborn. "She's still in here," Elia whispered. "Her voice, her memories, her love." Evan looked at the sky. "She gave us more than a cure," he said. "She gave us choice." Kaya was not just a girl. She was a beginning, spark in darkness, a reminder that being human isn't about blood or origin. It's about what you choose when the world gives you none.